Assalamu alaikum. Rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So, me and a few of the brothers and a couple of sisters, we have what we call a little powwow. So, what we do is, we like to keep each other in check. Tomorrow is Jum'ah. So, some of us, we up late, preparing for Tahajjud, Qiyam al-Layl, depending on your circumstances. So, we like to check on each other and talk about little Islamic topics. So, we check on each other, make sure everybody is cool, if anybody need to just talk and, speak on how they feel or what they're going through, we there for each other, right? So we having a nice little discussion. So they gave me permission to go ahead and record because I'm asked for YouTube. So they asked me a little question, and I wanna share it with YouTube, and we going into Jum'ah, and inshallah, man, it'll be some benefit, for Jum'ah, man, to set a tone for the Muslims. So this is about marriage. So the question that was asked, because they know I deal with some sisters as a wakil. Wallahi, some sisters who be in bad marriages and like the brother won't release them, and it's a circumstance where they should release them. They contact me and I help them get out of the marriage. Like wallahi, I done had to help a few sisters get out of their marriage, or talk with another brother and reconcile the marriage. So what they asked me was this: in a lot of cases when a divorce happens, like I'm gonna say this little part. They asked me, out of the sisters, out of all the years that I've been a wakil and helping sisters get married, how many sisters have I seen leave Islam? And I can say wholeheartedly, I want to say 3, 2 for sure, 1 an impossible. 1, they still lingering. They holding on to just a little bit. But, so the question was, why does it seem that Islam leaves the home when the man divorces the wife? Or even if she asks for the kula and then she go her separate way, and like they have children, or the woman had some kids that wasn't his, and then they had a kid together, why does it seem that Islam leaves the home? And this is a major issue, because a lot of times Islam does leave the home. Islam does leave the home. A lot of times, depending on the strength of the sister, a lot of times the sister starts to struggle with her deen, and she'll stop covering up. She'll start to experience moments of weakness, and sometimes I've personally seen sisters blame Islam, like blame it on Allah, like seriously. And but I have to be honest, and I'm not siding with the men, but a lot of times they not the women that they think they are. I'm just gonna be honest. I tell them that. So when a relationship doesn't go the way that they feel like it should, or they lie to themselves and tell themselves the brother's going to do this and the brother's going to do all that, and he has entirely different plans. And then when they can't manipulate him into doing those things, and the marriage ends because she done talked herself out of a good marriage, so they start to have moments of weaknesses where they starting to struggle with Islam on some levels in the home, and that's going to trickle down to the kids. Now for the men, sometimes it's not so much of a struggle with the sons, but it is with the daughters, because the mother has more influence on the daughter. If the mother Islam start to get weak, how strong is the daughter Islam going to get? You see what I'm saying? And if the mother is sitting around saying all type of things out of anger about the father to the daughter, because what I'm noticing is sometimes with women, let's say it's a group of 4 sisters and they all friends. 2 sisters get into it. The sister feel like the ones that's as close to her should be into it with the sister that she got into it. If they not as upset with that sister, like, hey, they get in the mode like, we not friends with her no more. They be like, no, you not friends with her no more. No, it's we're not friends with her no more. Now I'm speaking on that because sometimes when the father or the husband leaves the home, that mold get passed down to the daughters and the sons sometimes. No, we not cool with your father. And then they want to instill what they feeling. They want the kid to feel the same way. And this isn't to bash women, but I'm saying in a lot of these cases, if you just notice, a lot of times non-Muslim women, a lot of times, man, every time you hear a woman tell the story, somehow she's always the victim. No matter if it's with her mother, no matter if it's with her father, no matter if it's her best friend, if it's 2 women and you listen to 2 women tell their side of the story, somehow both of them is the victim. Somehow they doing wrong, and they could turn on them crocodile tears, but in reality, they was the problem. In the friendship, not every case, but sometimes they are, and they're able to play the victim. And then they want everybody to be on their side. So they'll do these things with the daughter and with the kids. So now the daughter is emotionally attached to the emotions of the mother, even if they feel like the mom is wrong. See, some women have a mentality of, because I am the woman, I am right. And even if I'm wrong, you supposed to let me have my way because I am the woman. So sometimes daughters will attach to that emotion even if they feel like their mother is in the wrong. So the father starts to lose the influence, because now she'll have a little anger towards anything he try to tell her and say, I ain't rocking with you right now because mom is. But they don't know if mom is really in the wrong. Women aren't always the victim, and women know this about each other. So Islam starts to lead the home because the man, this is 2 examples. One, they aren't properly educated. I'm just going to be honest about that. The brother wasn't properly educated. Some sisters don't have a strong understanding of Deen. So what happens is the foundation isn't laid and it's easy to tear down. this is something that I'm starting to hear a lot of women say. When they starting to say, and this shows an improper understanding that some of the women have once the man leaves the home. Well, I want my child to choose Islam. They might have a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old daughter or son, and they getting ready to go into them years of turmoil. A lot of things that people fall into that's really bad for their life. It started as a teenager. Like a lot of people who ended up hooked on drugs, it started as a teenager. They started with the cigarette, or they started with some drinking, or they became alcoholics. A lot of them, it generally started in their teenage years. Even if it was 18 or 19. Some people still, because you can legally do things at 18, or you can literally be declared an adult in the 17s, the 18s, and 19s, but those are still teens. You're still teenager. A lot of people who start fornicating. A lot of people start their sexual activities in the teens. They catch their diseases and stuff in the teens. They get burnt. A lot of things happen in the teens. People who end up being criminals. Some people get locked up 36, 40 years for something they did as a teenager. So this is a vital time. And now I'm starting to hear women say, well, I want my child, once the man isn't there, I want my child to choose Islam. Why do I say this is a grave mistake? And it's really starting to get lackadaisical because they didn't learn enough about their deen in order to teach it to their kid. I'm just being honest. So when they start to have this approach, I want you to choose Islam, I don't want to force it on you. This shows a misunderstanding of the deen, because in Islam, when your child reaches a certain age and certain levels of puberty, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to get on their butt and make sure that they make salah. It's mandatory. It's mandatory when your child, some say, are starting around the age of 7. But see, some don't always have a mental capacity. But if Islam say around the age of 7, you're supposed to start getting on your child behind if they not making salah, either for themselves or either behind you. So as a parent, how do you start to say, well, I want my kid to choose? And then they start to focus on, kid ain't prayed all week, right? But they was late for school. They'll get on them, they'll do stuff about clothes. Yeah, them new clothes I bought you, you can't wear them. This new stuff that you doing, nah, that's a no-go. But you not praying, so what? That's your choice. So they don't realize, as a parent, you starting to put yourself in a position with Allah Azza wa Jal. Now, if the father is there and he forcing these things, then when the kids is around, then the mom is doing that's just your old mean daddy, and pacifying them and this and that. They're undermining the authority that's in the house if they don't start turning the dad away. So when the dad leaves the home, they don't care if the kid's getting up to pray. We don't care if you get up and pray as long as you get up on time for school. You see what I'm saying? If you like some people had 3-4 kids, one kid day for dishes is Monday, or they got a week worth of dishes, and then the other one got a week of this with their chores. Let them don't wash dishes, and then their mom be all in front of their face with these knuckles. But if they not praying, they don't care. I want them to choose that. I don't want to be mean and all this other stuff. That's a grave mistake. And then they end up with a child who they've turned away from the father. The father's the big meanie, Some cases when the kid is young and then the kid starts to come to the father house, now the father is making them pray, the father is making them read Quran, and the mother is telling them they don't have to do that. So now they might not want to come over because the father don't make them pray, and the father is going to make them read Quran or do something. Or you're not going to be able to do these certain activities in my house because they go against the Deen. But mom don't care. So then what they going to do? When mom is telling them you don't need all that pressure on you and all these other things, so now the kid not going to come over. You know what I'm saying? It's with any type of discipline. You can remove the Islam and look at the homes once the father leaves. A lot of the disciplines that was instilled in the house, as far as whatever the structure is, it disappears. It disappears. But certain things that involve dunya, the mothers let her son don't cut the grass. She gonna be in front of his face with these knuckles. But if he ain't making salat, you know what I'm saying, he ain't making du'as before he go in the bathroom, she don't care. So yes, sometimes Islam do start to leave the house. I'm going to be honest, I see a lot of kids leave Islam when the father leaves, or some form of it. Now, I see some instances where people have kids with non-Muslim women. So this kind of is expected because they have a fight against the mother. She's going to take them to church. She's going to talk that Jesus stuff. So they got a parent that they had to struggle again. Now you starting to see it in Islam, where now the man has a Muslim wife and he has to struggle with the Muslim woman to keep the Islamic structure on the kids while he's gone. And they starting to have these things, you know, it's their choice, it's his choice, it's her choice. I want them to choose this. But you're not teaching them nothing. You're not even discussing any Islam in them. You're not making sure they have some Islamic study habits. The only time when I see that the kids don't fall off is when the mother has some type of strong study habits, some type of strong structure. But like those women who start to get weak and they want to start uncovering, the Islam is leaving them too. So I wanna, but this is why, man, there's not a real strong foundation in the home to begin with. Cause like, this is something else I see. Like I see sisters, and I'm cool with a lot of Muslims, man. The women, okay, we gonna get together and study, right? Cause like I say, I'm a wakil for some sisters, and all of them is friends, right? They get together and study, and then if one of them is slacking or one of them not showing up, they get mad. But when you was married, you was doing the exact same thing to your husband. Your husband talk about studying, your husband talk about reading this, he's met with a whole lot of resistance. So what is a sister like that gonna do with the kids? And then when you lay that law down, and now the kids don't want to come around because they also listening to the your daddy this, your daddy that, the anger and resentment, love me more than him stuff. And a lot of these kids, man, once that man, but it's not only Islam. Once the man has to remove himself from that home, Muslim and non-Muslim, a lot of the structure, a lot of the disciplines, and a lot of the things go completely left, Muslim or non-Muslim at home. So this is why it is important to get a strong structure laid down when you get married. So I want to speak on the Quran ayat. And this right here, for some of y'all who are married already, and some of y'all who looking and y'all having the conversations with sisters, I'm finna give y'all some serious advice. And this is what Allah Azza wa Jal told Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in Quran al-Kareem. And it was serious business. But I'm going to tell you something, man. I'm going to advise y'all real quick before I read this. I brushed out the book of Tafsirs before I started to record for YouTube. But listen, because sometimes with the, like how we having this conversation now, and some of the people trying to figure out the struggle to get it back and forth, the baby moms, I ain't saying this every case, because I know some sisters who married to some brothers who fell off Deen, and now he's taking the kid. I want him to go to church. I want him to do Christmas. He's taking them left. I want him to choose Islam and this and that. That's not what Islam tell you to do when you're born into a Muslim family. By the time they reach a certain age, you're supposed to be on a rump about making salah. You see what I'm saying? So stop marrying somebody because they Muslim and start marrying them for Islam. There's a difference. There's a difference, because you can have two Muslims best friends, right? But they best friends because they in the drug game together. Their Kafir girlfriends might be sisters or cousins, and they just kicking it on some Dunya stuff. But Islam is completely out the window, except for Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. They might pray together sometimes, but they're not friends for Islamic purposes. They friends for purposes of the dunya. Some people marry for the same reason. Some people marry for the same reason. You want to marry for Islam, like me. Okay? So like, right here, they asked me, when you looking for marriage, like, how do you determine these things? And I'm going to be honest with you. And it's because, it's not only because of this ayat, but this ayat is a foundation for me and other things. Me, I'm not going to marry no sister until I study with her first. That's been a prerequisite of mine from like 2017, 2018. I had to study with her first. You understand? I would talk to the Wakil or the Wali, lay this foundation down. He can be there. We can meet and study together. And we could do it down to whatever level. If he give us permission to conversate on the phone, look, we studying. And one thing that I do is on a basic level, because trust and believe me when I tell y'all this, man, a lot of Muslims in today's time have not read the Quran from front to back completely. Or they haven't read it in a timely manner. Or they may have just bust down and started reading it for Ramadan, to complete it for Ramadan, and they rushed through it. If they did it. A lot of Muslims haven't read the Quran completely. One thing I do is to say, look, we're going to set aside some time, and we're going to read the Quran together. We're going to read one juz per day. And then just try to give 2 months, because sometimes, sisters be having menses. So they can't read while they on their menses. We could do it this way. I read a page, you read a page, and then we discuss it. And then you will be able to see how they understand in the Quran. Like, real talk, man. I know people who married to Muslim sisters. I know sisters who married to Muslim brothers and been together 5-6 years, and the other one has never read the whole entire Quran before. You see what I'm saying? They don't even have that basic of the basic foundation, and they may have been Muslim 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. I honestly know Muslims that's been Muslim almost 30 years and have never read the entire Quran one time. So, you know, when you marry for Islam, you're going to know these things. So once they start reading that Quran, you're going to start to see what's going to start coming up out of it. Shaitan going to come in. You're going to start to see what's to it. This don't move me. I ain't feeling this. I don't really believe that. And then you can just have a general conversation with them. You ain't got to bust out the tafsirs. Just get a general feel for how do they understand that ayat. What did it mean to them? See how far-fetched they take it. You see what I'm saying? See if they start twisting it up and changing it. Or see if they're able to just go with the flow. So then you're going to see what you're working with. You're going to see what you're working with. I advise this for male and female. Sit down and study with them. Don't, sisters, all they want to do is hear, brother, can you recite? That don't mean nothing. I want to hear the brother recite. I want to see how he going to make me feel when I pray Fajr. Let's get into the character. That brother might not have even read the Quran before. So get into that. So that's me. I got to study with him first. I'm not finna rush into nothing. I got to study with him first. I'm not saying it's a deal breaker, but it's going to give me the opportunity to see Islamically what type of situation I'm getting into. And I'm finna give y'all the foundation with this Quran ayat. But I got Tafsir's Ibn Kathir. I'm finna do it now. So I got Tafsir's Ibn Kathir so y'all can look at the explanation of it. Because Allah Azza wa Jal, and if you use this as your foundation of going into a marriage, you know, alhamdulillah. So this is Surah 33, ayat number 28. So Allah tells the Quran, right? O Prophet, right? Say to your wives. So this addressed all of them, all the sisters he married to. Say to your wives, if you desire the life of this world and its glitter, then come, and I will make a provision for you and set you free in a handsome manner. Allah told the Rasul to say to your wives, if your desires is for this life and its glitters, here, let me break you off these few bucks, this little bit of provision, and you're divorced. If all she is about is the dunya and this glitter, don't marry her. The Rasul, Allah told the Rasul to tell his wives, if y'all about this dunya and the glitter of this dunya, the glitz and the glam and the aesthetics of Islam and all that, if that's what you want, come on over here. Let me break you off a little bit of provisions, and you gone from me. We have nothing else to do with each other. Complete talaq. Not if that. Not a waiting period. Go and get up out of here. Get out. See what I'm saying? Now peep this out. Then it says, but the second part is, but if you desire Allah and his messenger and the home of the hereafter, then verily Allah has prepared for the doers of good amongst you an enormous award. If you desire Allah, his messenger, translation in this term, Quran and Sunnah, this Deen, Allah's way, then we can keep rocking. See, that's when you know you're marrying for Islam. But look at this. Let me give y'all some of the jewels, right? So here Allah commands his messenger to give his wives the choice of separating from him so that they may go to someone else with whom they can find what they want of life, what they want of the life of this world and its attractions, or patiently bearing the straitening circumstances with the Rasul. So some of the hardships or some of the things that they feel like is difficulty, Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying patiently bearing with the straightening circumstances. These circumstances should be helping them develop taqwa. These circumstances should be heightening and elevating their level of tawheed. You see what I'm saying? These things should be helping them be stronger in istiqamah. You understand? So if they want to bear patience with these straightening circumstances so that they can be straightened out on the straight path that leads to Allah Azza wa Jalla, they gonna go through it. But if all they want is dunya, if all they want is glitz and glamour, thing that's gonna make them the envy of all their friends, tell them to get on about their business so that they can go find somebody else that'll give it to them. So this is a foundation laid down by Allah Azza wa Jalla. Now, hold on, now check it out, right? So that they can, or patiently bearing the straightening circumstances with the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, for which they have a great reward with Allah. They chose Allah and His Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and the home of the hereafter. May Allah be pleased with them. Then Allah gave them the best of both worlds. They made that choice, and then the things came in, the best of both worlds. But it wasn't about glitz and glam or status. It wasn't about, look at me, y'all, I'm married to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Ain't none of y'all chicks better than me. The little stuff you get now. Look at me, I'm the mother of the believers. I'm this, I'm that. The stuff that these women do today. It wasn't none of that, man. But check this out though. So Bukhari narrated from Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, the wife of the Prophet, that the Messenger of Allah came to her first when Allah commanded him to give his wife the choice. She said, the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam started with me and said, I'm going to tell you about something, and you do not have to hasten to respond until you consult with your parents. So you don't have to hurry up and answer. Go talk to your parents first and get some advice from them. So just to speed it up, basically, Aisha said, no, I don't have to go talk to my parents. I'm good. I'm chilling with you. So just to speed it up, but to give y'all a little bit more, so Hafsa and a lot of them, they came, this happened with all of them. So listen to this, I gotta tell, because this is funny. It made me laugh, it made the Rasul laugh. So coming to the next ayah, right? Abu Bakr, may Allah be with the next hadith, the hadith that goes with the circumstances that made these ayahs come down. Why did Allah tell the Rasul to say that to his wives? What was they on? Because this ain't the only one, because it's another ayat where Allah makes it clear, I had the Rasul divorce y'all and replace every last one of y'all with something better. I replace every last one of y'all with somebody better. So there was admonishments coming down, but what was they doing? Check this out, right? So Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him, came to ask the permission to see the Messenger of Allah, and the people were sitting at his door. And the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was sitting, but he did not give him permission. Then Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, came and asked permission to see him, and he didn't give him permission. They coming to see what's up with their daughters, right? So then he gave Abu Bakr and Umar may Allah be pleased with them both, permission, and they entered. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sitting with his wives around him, and he was silent. Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, said, I will tell the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam something that will make him smile, something that will make him laugh, right? Umar, something that's going to cheer him up. Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, said, O Messenger of Allah, if only you had seen the daughter of Zayd, his wife, the wife of Umar, right, asking me to spin on her just now. And then he says, I broke her neck. Oh Allah's Messenger, if you could have just seen my wife asking me to spend on her, to waste money on her, to get her a whole bunch of glitz and grams and extravagance for status. Look at me. Look, my husband do better for me than yours. These things, right? He said I broke her neck. Not just as a joke. You know what I'm saying? So the Messenger of Allah, he smiled. He kind of, laughed so hard that you could see the molars in the back of his mouth, because this is what this ayat was about. So then it says, they are, and then he said, they are around me asking me to spend on them. My wives are sitting around here trying to hit me up for money. They don't appreciate what they have. Spend on me, buy this, buy that. That's what determines your love, what makes you good. But look what it say. Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him, got up to deal with Aisha, and Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, got up to deal with Hafsa, with both of their daughters, and both of them were saying, you are asking the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam for that which he does not have. You understand? Not that like what you get hit with now. I want what I want. If you can't get it, you need to go get a better job. You need to go out there, and like I know from brothers who've been married with these type of sisters, and this was a valuable lesson for me as a kid, alhamdulillah. I used to see these sisters get on these brothers so harshly for things that they didn't have. They had everything they needed, but they wanted all this extra. These brothers hit the street for crime and ended up in a penitentiary. And I remember when my time came, and I sat back and said, and I seen what I watched their kids suffer while they was in the joint, and then I watched all the homies come through, bringing a McDonald's burger, a Happy Meal, and spending the night. You see what I'm saying? But you done sacrificed and went to the penitentiary because she ain't have necklaces and bracelets. She ain't have a car with music in it. And now you in a penitentiary, and now all the guys all over there, they ain't getting necklaces. They ain't getting beats and cars. They bringing your child a Happy Meal, KFC 2-piece kid snack. And then they're laid up on that furniture you got, watching that TV you got, laid over with your baby moms while you're in prison. I learned from that. So some of this stuff, this is the type of pressure they was putting on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Their fathers had to get on them. And look what he said. Y'all asking the Prophet for that which he does not have. But the Messenger of Allah stopped them and said, they, my wives, said, hold on, and they, his wives, said, by Allah, after this, we will not ask the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for anything that he does not have. We're going to sit down and be appreciative. Getting caught up in the glitz and glams, right? Then Allah revealed the ayat telling him to give him a choice. And he started with Aish. So I'm mentioning that because some of these brothers, man, when you lay your foundation on, because I'm telling you, I do sit downs. And I'm telling you, I see sisters and they sit there and say stuff like, can you do this? Will you do this? Will you take me there? Will you take me on these trips? If we need this, you know, it'd be some serious stuff like, can I get 3 new buyers every week for 2 months? And then when those get old, like 3 buyers every week, and just to be a stay in the house wife? What do you need that many buyers for? Can I get a handbag? Will you give me a handbag with a shoe to match every bag? Like, I'm serious. They be asking brothers this. You know what I'm saying? Can we go? And you know, and the brothers sit down. Some of them, they really don't have it to be splurging like that, or they trying to save up for Hajj. They trying to save up for Hijrah. But you want them to buy 3 buyers a week. That's 12 buyers a month. That's 24 buyers just to sit in your closet. You know what I'm saying? And Kmars. And then a bag, 3-4 bags with shoes to match. They be asking for ridiculous, outlandish stuff. That's all worldly. But they not going to sit down and study. They not going to sit down and memorize Quran. They don't even know this brother's favorite food. They don't even know if he preferred baked chicken over fried chicken. Because their whole thing is, you going to eat whatever I cook and like it. And you better not put no salt on it, because if you add some salt to it, it's going to hurt my food and I'm going to cry. You know what I'm saying? And then these women, so I'm telling y'all, man, and Allah, when the Rasul wives started getting like that, Rasul told him, man, Allah told him, and it's in the Quran, go give him a choice. If you desire this dunya and the glitz and the glamours of it, let me go ahead and break you off with a little something and send you on your way. You know what I'm saying? So first and foremost, and it's the same with the sisters. If you desire Jannah, I'm telling you, man, I remember years ago, women used to be like, man, I want to get married, man. I want a brother that can lead me to Jannah. Now when I enter the Wakil phase, I'll be like, and wallahi, this real talk. Why, you know? Or they'll be like, man, I need to get married. I'm tired of paying all these bills. I'm getting sick and tired of working. So you want to get married so you don't have to work no more? That's it? I need help. I need somebody to take my son to the masjid. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm telling you, I done sit down, man. A sister, I have a whole list of problems. I need you to marry me and solve all these problems and take care of me. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta buy me all this and that. And I only want to cook 3 days a week. 4 days a week we go out or order food. And that's their preference. That's their preference. But they not saying, I want to get married to somebody that's gonna lead me to Jannah no more. I want to marry somebody that's gonna lead me in Salat, teach me Arabic. They talking about, I'm tired of working. I need somebody to pay my bills. And then they sit up and have these good dudes, and then they be saying little stuff to them. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't take women serious that do that little stuff like, oh, if you was a real man, you would be doing this. Oh, well, you know, they ask you to do something like something simple, like, can you hand me the remote control? But they closer to the remote control. And then you look at them and they say little stuff like, oh, you so romantic. You just a real romantic type. You know what I'm saying? But they really don't do anything for you at all. See, women forget that the Muslim men have rights over them. They don't cook for you. You know what I'm saying? They might have a little job. They may go out to eat. Don't call you on the phone and be like, hey, I'm out here at the little halal spot, man, get some chicken and rice. You want me to bring you something? No, they don't have to do it, of course. But if this is your husband and you have money and you work, you can't offer him, I'm out here, man, you want me to pick you up something to eat? They don't do none of that. But if you don't have them in remote control that's closer to them, oh, well, you ain't romantic. You ain't no real man. A real man would have got up and did it. If a real person really wanted to be married, they'll do this and do that. And then might get to sitting up saying, well, you know, I need more and more of this. I need you to do this. You need to start doing better. When they do nothing. When they do nothing. Which, hey, and they feel like that's their choice. But how can you insult somebody and you do less than them? I don't take sisters like that serious, man. And I'm telling you, when you look at the Quran, and when the Rasul wives started to get these little things going on with them, Allah let them know the standards. So when y'all brothers, and even some of y'all sisters, you know what I'm saying, when you going into the marriage phase, man, and for some of y'all who married and y'all having these issues, it's about the dunya, man. When you start to marry and make your marriage about Islam, then you're going to see what's what. Then you're going to see what's what. You can see these sisters get together in a group. Oh, she don't never want to study. Oh, she don't do her part. She this, she that. Well, why you ain't the same thing? Because you do the exact same thing with your husband. And concluding, this is the reason why Islam starts to lead a home with the father, because some of these Muslim sisters, in these cases where Islam is leading the home, because they about that dunya, man. They're about that glitter, because they will put heat and they will put pressure on their kids to chase the dunya and chase the glitter. But when it comes to chasing Jannah and chasing the Deen of Islam, they don't care. I want them to make that choice on their own. I want them to get up and start buying books and stuff on their own. As a cover up for, you really can't teach them nothing, and now you turning them against the father, or you pacify them when the father instills that discipline about them going against the Deen. Now this, like I say, sometimes this is a different scenario for people who have kids with non-Muslim women. But when you have a Muslim woman, when a kid has two Muslim parents, they gotta be equally as strong, man. And this is starting to be a common thing where when you have two Muslim parents that live in the house with the Muslim children and the children of Deen while they live together and grew up there, something going on in the house. They off Deen while both parents in the house. You know what I'm saying? Now when the father leaves, and then you start to see the Islam starting to disappear, and even though he's trying to still instill it, but the mother, oh, you ain't got to worry about that, your daddy just being mean, and it ain't that serious, you still just a kid, you got a long life ahead of you, you can start getting serious about Islam after you get a career, and, you know, as long as you in school, and as long as you ain't in trouble on the streets, that Islam stuff on the back burner. And this is how Islam started leaving the house, man. This is how Islam started leaving the house. And a lot of these cases, people married somebody because they was Muslim and they wasn't marrying for Islam. I see brothers, man. I see sisters too. Because like I said, I know a sister, man, who was married to a Muslim brother. They got divorced. He fell off Deen. He got to messing with them Kafirs. He got back in the street. Now he want his kid to do Christmas. And now they have to fight. They have to fight. You know what I'm saying? And it's a struggle. She's doing this and that and putting the kid in Muslim, putting the son in Muslim schools, Real sharp little young brother, man. Wallahi, I know him. Real sharp little kid, man. And the father pulling him left. Hanging with the mom. Marrying Kafirs and, probably eating pork. But it's a struggle. You know what I'm saying? So Islam lead a home on both sides, but they wasn't on the same level of striving, man. But, it's almost that time, man, for us to get to doing what we got to do. So I'm going to end it, you know what I'm saying? And, the weekend coming up. And, we're going to do what we do this weekend, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to record that little part and share this and kind of have a small discussion on it, man. And we need to think, man, start marrying for Islam. Not just because somebody is Muslim, man. Not because somebody is Muslim. And it's a lot of chasing this dunya, man. It's a lot of chasing the dunya and the glitz and the glam and the statuses. Look at me. I'm this. I'm that. On both behalf. Look at my car. Look at my car. Look at my house. Look at my house. Look at these clothes I have. Look at all these knickknacks in my home. What about Islam? What about Islam? You know what I'm saying? You see these sisters, man, jump up, won't study with the husband, but they have another sister who got an associate's degree in psychology or something. Some of those degrees that women go get. Psychology or some type of nursing field. And then they'll jump up and go to school and start trying to get some type of degree or some CNA certificate, right? But they won't even sit down and do 20 minutes worth of Islamic class once a week. But alhamdulillah, man. So take heed to that, man. Chase Islam, man. And like it said, like the ayat says, and like what Aisha and them said, man. Once you choose Quran and Sunnah and you choose Islam wholeheartedly, then Allah will give you best of both worlds. All that stuff, cause see, alhamdulillah. Barakallahu feek. So, when in the dunya, I remember sometimes, man, like when cats would be hustling and this and that, and they would be down and out. They would go shopping and stuff, man, to make themselves feel better. Buy them some new clothes, some new kicks, and then that stuff would be temporary. Get them a new car and get them some rims, throw some music on it. Then after, everybody done seen it, they done went out and this and that. Then that stuff is back to that stuff don't mean nothing no more. I know a lot of times, man, a lot of people be caught up in trying to make themselves feel better about their reality. So these glitz and glams and these statuses, I'm this, I'm that, I have this, look at my car. Every month I got a different car. I got all this, I'm armor walling. I wash my car 8 times a week. It's 7 days in a week, man. I wash my car every single night and twice on Sundays. But can't sit down and read the Quran 5 minutes a day. So that don't just apply to the women, but this just happened to be in a situation where the wives was just like, gimme. And they seem to think because a man is supposed to do certain things within his means, nothing is never good enough. Nothing is never good enough. Gimme. Although you don't have it, gimme. And he said, oh, well, like right now, sis be like, hey, if you can't do this, you can't do that, you ain't the one for me. I hear him tell that, man. And then they end up, and this be the sad part, they end up with a brother who tricked them into thinking he gonna do it when they passed up a good brother who they could have provided everything that they needed, but not necessarily everything that they wanted. And then they end up with a brother who peeped their little steez, and then he beat them at their own game. Alright, man, you know what I'm saying? Make dua for me. I'm gonna make dua for y'all, man. You know, we know everybody gotta do what they gotta do. Juma tomorrow, man. Technically it's now, but assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.